All right, we're gonna do a taste test review.
Hell yeah, Bubblicious Ghost.
Ghost Bubblicious Cotton Candy.
Don't forget the percentages.
Shout out to Ghost. We're not sponsored by them, but we should be.
Should be.
Dude, that's great.
Yes, I know.
That is great.
It's my favorite Ghost.
Is it?
Yeah, it's my favorite. I love it.
That's spot on.
I know.
It's oh my gosh. Dude, I've got so many flavors. It's definitely 60% bubble gum.
Mm-hmm.
Did you do percentages on yours?
No,
in
I
your
didn't.
head? In your
yeah,
head?
in my head, yeah, I did.
It's 60. We got 60% bubblicious bubble gum.
Mm-hmm.
Man, the rest is cotton candy. Like, I don't know what else is in there, but it kind of gives me some nerdish, like some nerds flavoring a little bit. Like, dude, this is fire. 1,000 milligrams of caffeine.
Wait, what?
Just kidding.
Like,
no, but we got 200 milligrams of caffeine in here. And I shouldn't be drinking this right now because we just had some good pre-workout before the gym, but
that's okay.
It is what it is. We're gonna give the heart some pumps today.
It's a muscle. It needs to be worked too.
That's right. My blood pressure's a little high right now too. Not gonna say why. We're back.
All right, we are back with the Q&A.
Back. All right. You want to hold that?
Yeah, I'll hold it for you. Okay. First question: what are your biggest mistakes you made early on, and how did you overcome them?
Okay, this question comes from a comment in the YouTube comment section. Shout out to Tyler. One of the biggest things I've learned early on, especially, was do your due diligence on contractors. I'm a very, very nice person. If you know me personally, I tend to get on the side of trust. I trust people very easily, even though I maybe shouldn't all the time. But I ended up paying this contractor like $5,000 cash early before he even finished the job, and his job was only supposed to be 10 grand or something like that. So I paid him half up front. And actually in Rhino Coatings we get paid half up front, but you sign a contract. There was no contract whatsoever. I paid this guy $5,000 up front. He told me what he was going to do, and he didn't deliver. And it really stung me. I ended up having to. I didn't even pay him the rest of the money because he didn't even do he did a quarter of what he said he was going to do. So that really set me back a lot. I don't believe that I got my $5,000 out of the work that he was supposed to do. So that stings when you're looking at having people help you and hiring contractors. The best thing you can do is ask people who've done it, who've been there, who's been in the construction business. You know, guys, I started this by myself. I didn't have anybody. I didn't ask anybody. Who they used or what they did here and there. You know, I was firing at the hip throughout this whole my first deal. So I hired this guy, and I shouldn't have, and that stung me. But was that $5,000 worth it? Yes, because I learned a major lesson. So actually, I'm quite thankful for that. So have that mentality that you can flip the script, right? Yeah, I lost $5,000, but I probably saved myself hundreds of thousands of dollars in the future.
Okay. How did you finance your first multifamily property, and would you do it the same way today?
Yes, I would. I would do it exactly the same way. We still do it the same way, kind of, but if you aren't in real estate yet and you're looking for your first deal, this is what I did. I got a line of credit, right? So I purchased my home, my personal residence, for $136,000. Yes, I would say there was some luck in the deal, but here in Jessup, when I bought this place for $136,000, I did a lot of work to it, right, to raise the value. I knew that's what I had to do because I did a lot of research, and that was my goal. Was this is how I'm going to do it. So I bought my house. I'd owned it for a few years already, so it's already appreciated, say a couple $1,000 just by owning it in that time period. Well, I said, okay, how am I going to get my fastest how am I going to get the fastest access to liquid cash that I can use to fund my first deal? So that was a home equity line of credit. It was a HELOC is what they call it, or just a lock, line of credit, right? And I'm like, okay, well, I owe $136,000 on my house. Let's see how, and actually I owed much less. We put a big down payment on the property. So I want to say I owed about $100,000 on it. But I did all new floors. I basically remodeled my entire house. Went to the bank. I said, hey, I owe $100,000 on it. What's it worth right now? They came back, said it's worth 180 or 190. I can't quite remember exactly. And I think the numbers, we owed 90-ish. It came back, it was worth about 180, and the bank gave me a home equity line of credit. Look it up, a home equity line of credit. So I had an $85,000 line of credit that the bank let me it's basically a credit card, right? They said, here, you got $100,000 in equity in your property. We're gonna loan you 80% on that equity. Here's a $85,000 line of credit. It'd actually be 80, but it ended up being 85. And you can now use this as however you want it. And I didn't go and spend it on stupid crap. So I took that $85,000 and I said, okay, look at all this capital I now have to be able to put into a deal. So I went, I found a deal, my duplex. It was a home run deal. Listen, guys, it's really hard to find deals like this. You could do 10 deals before you hit a home run deal. I just so happened to hit a home run deal on my first. I was at the right place, the right time. Sometimes that's how it works. But I truly believe if you work really hard, you can make your own luck too. So I found my duplex. It was marked there was a big old sign in the window that said for sale, 110,000. It was crossed out. 100,000 crossed out. 85,000 crossed out. All the way down to 50,000. And his phone number was on there, and I called him and I said, hey, I want to buy this. Can I get in here and check it out? He said, yeah, go right in. Nobody's there. I'm actually down in Missouri. Check it out and call me back, see if you're interested. I called him back. I said, I want it. Will you take $35,000? And he said, Seth, if you would have told me 30, I would have told you to screw off, but yeah, I'll take 30. I'm like, well, great, we can close, or 35, great, we can close at your attorney's office as soon as you're ready. We can get the paperwork through escrow and all that, whatever. So that's how I bought my first deal, and that's exactly how I would do it again. If you own a house already, see how much equity you have in it. Make sure you can find a good deal. If you can find a good deal, force equity, or after you have got a HELOC on your property, find a good deal that you can force equity into to create value that you can then turn into a rental and rinse and repeat. So thanks, Tyler, for those questions. That's going to help a lot. So guys, please, if you're watching this right now, questions are going to help me create content to help you guys. So thanks, Tyler. I appreciate you hopping in the comments and asking some questions. So,
what was the moment you knew real estate was the path you wanted to commit to long term?
The moment I knew real estate was the path I wanted to commit to long term was exactly when I went to the bank and I said, hey, I want to get an appraisal on my duplex that I had just completely remodeled. I am all in at $85,000 roughly. I use that whole line of credit on that property. $35,000 purchase price. The rest went into renovations. I went to the bank. I said, hey, what's my spread here? How much is this bad boy worth now that it's filled up? It was worth $170-some thousand. I said, all right, it's full, $1,000 a month each unit, give or take. I want to say they're like 900 a piece actually. I was cash flowing like crazy right off the get-go. They cash out refinanced me. I got a great interest rate compared to today's. I think it was like 5%. And when you cash out refinance something, you're taking out debt on a property. So the new loan balance, I paid off my line of credit with the $170,000 or the 100 and whatever it was. I paid off my loan balance to myself. The line of credit got paid off immediately. My new loan balance was like $145,000, and I get the spread on that, right? Whatever the exact numbers were, I put $50,000 tax-free cash into my bank account when I was like 20 some years old, early 20s. And when that day that I was walking around, and I was probably 24 or 5 at the time, I was walking around and I had 50 grand in my account. I didn't have to pay a dime of taxes on it. I had a cash flowing asset. My monthly mortgage payment was $1,050 a month, and I was getting $1,900 a month out of this place, or $1,800, sorry, out of this duplex. So I was cash flowing hundreds of dollars. The property was completely renovated and brand new, so I didn't have to worry about overhead costs much, and still don't, because it's been a great property. And then I was walking around with cash in my bank, and if 50 grand at that, I knew that the minute I did that, I would never have to personally work for anybody else in my life, because I knew that I was going to be able to work toward the goal of continuing to do this. So that is the exact moment when I realized that, hey, there's something in real estate. Let's actually see what it is and where we can go from that. So, yeah.
Next question. If you could give advice to your 21-year-old self starting out, what would you say?
Man, that's a tough question.
Oh, yeah.
What would my advice be? My advice would probably be to just plain and simple, just get into real estate earlier. Maybe, if you don't have liquid cash you can get out, or money that you can deploy into real estate, take your real estate license. That'll never hurt. Guys, you could go out and get your real estate license in a few months in Iowa. Start meeting everybody. Go to real estate meetups, groups. You can start selling houses and start stacking cash. So my one piece of advice to myself would be get into real estate today.
Okay. How do you define success in your journey? Is it units, cash flow, lifestyle freedom, or something else?
Freedom, 100%. Freedom, and on top of that, so my successful life in my head comes down to two things, really. Freedom, and freedom's going to give me time with my family, right? It's super cliche, everybody says it, but yeah, someday, I really like nice, I like cool shit, right? So I'm gonna probably own a supercar here before I'm 30, just because it's been a goal of mine and I really am interested in that. And my whole life, I've never spent the majority of my money on nice things. We've put so much money in everything. We have sacrificed for years. Ever since we got into real estate, we have sacrificed. It's not been easy, and actually we've been living super frugal on the side of things, where we have to put everything we've got into real estate just to make deals happen, because real estate will eat up cash like you've never seen. Whether it's down payments, whether it's taxes, right? Insurance is crazy right now. You got to pay. You're paying 5 times what material costs were pre-COVID. So, like I said, super cliche, but time and freedom and the ability to provide for my family, life that I didn't have growing up, and just making sure everybody's happy and has a wonderful, successful life. And then my number 3, if you really know me personally, I really love to help people out. So success in my eyes, time and freedom, being able to spend and make the most of the time that we have on earth with my family, and give them everything that they could ever want or need. That's going to come with hard work with my kids as well. I'm not just going to give them whatever they want, but and then success is one of the biggest things in my mind is, and I find this always happening, is if I can help somebody out, I feel more successful. I'm giving back, and that's my top 3.
How do you decide when to hold a property long term versus when to trade it up?
Yeah, I am buy and hold 100%. Right? The only time, so I've sold a few of my single family properties, and that was because I wanted and needed the capital to purchase our house that we're in now. Since then, I've never regretted that. They weren't underperforming properties. They did really well, but I'm buy and hold through and through. If you buy a property and you can rent it out and it's in a C plus B neighborhood, you're going to get an A neighborhood, right? But we don't shoot for that. That's not what we go for. And you can ride that appreciation out. If you hold on to that for your 27 and a half years of depreciation schedule, I think you're going to outperform and do great. Now, what I will say is getting deeper into real estate, hitting that 5-year mark, etc. We're going to start now looking at our portfolio as a whole, and things are changing to where, okay, we've got all these assets, everything's marked out, we can see how everything's performing. What's our lowest performing asset? We have one right now. It's pretty equal on the cash flow side of things. Not to mention, though, it did very well in equity-wise. We have a wonderful equity position on that property. It just doesn't cash flow as good. So we could sell that, 1031 it into a different property that's gonna be able to outperform that asset. So, and 1031, while we're talking about that, that's going to be your ticket, because the biggest thing in real estate is not paying taxes, right? The government actually, I would say the government benefits us investors because we're housing people. So the 1031 exchange, if you sell a property, you can defer the taxes. If you roll that over right into the next real estate deal, rather than selling your property outright and then having to pay state and federal income tax